You know, it is both ironic and fitting that it took Sacred Beasts, the deck that was literally sealed away at Duel Academy in the GX cartoon, to compel us to make this video. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, duelists of all ages. Welcome to Duel Academy. I am your host, Seto-sama the Fanatic, and today we are going to be going through the intricacies of the various summoning mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Spoiler alert, forewarning, we're going to be assuming that you know some of the basics about monster cards, such as, card types, whether they're effects, fusions, Ixie, synchros, etc., etc. So, let's start off with the basics. Basic normal summon. How do you normal summon a card? You simply take any monster card, place it from your hand, onto the field. As I'm sure most of you know who have read the rulebook, level 4 and lower monsters do not require tributes. Level 5 and higher do. Level 5 and 6 monsters require 1 tribute of a monster that you already have on the field in order to summon them from your hand. Level 7 and higher require 2 tributes. This is our first advanced mechanic of a summon called a tribute summon. Now, there are some monsters who are higher than 7 who require more than 2 tributes, but basically you just follow the text on the card. Like the Egyptian God cards, for example, require 3 tributes in order to be summoned. Now, you only get 1 normal summon per turn, unless there's an effective card in play like Double Summon, for example, which grants you 1 normal summon for a turn. Fair warning though, if your normal summon gets negated, that's it. It's gone, because it's a game mechanic. You get the 1 summon. If it gets negated by a card like, say, Solemn Judgment, that's it. Your normal summon is gone for the turn. You don't get it back. Let's get into special summoning. Special summoning monsters is a bit more complicated, but we'll try and keep it as simple as possible for you guys. First things first, unless an active effect on the field says otherwise, or the rules of the game change, you can special summon as many monsters as you want during any single turn. So monsters can be special summoned either by specific card effects or a condition on the card themselves. There's a huge difference mechanically between those two. We'll go with the first, which is special summoning via a card effect. Let's use Monster Reborn as an example. So you start by having a legal target that you can summon via the card effect that you're trying to play. You start by revealing Monster Reborn in your hand, placing it on the field in a face-up spell the trap card zone. Before you play it though, there has to be a legal monster that you can special summon in either player's graveyard in order to summon it. Target the monster. When you activate Monster Reborn, placing it on the field, summon the monster to your field, Monster Reborn goes to the graveyard. Simple, right? Now, the only way to stop these types of special summons is to negate the card's effect that is summoning the card. And you have to directly chain to that card in most scenarios. I activate Monster Reborn. If my opponent does not directly respond to Monster Reborn by negating the effect of Monster Reborn, removing the monster from the graveyard somehow that I targeted, Monster Reborn will resolve and the effect will go through. Afterwards, the only thing that can be activated is cards that respond directly to summons, such as Bottomless Trap Hole or Torrential Tribute. That is only special note, and we can do a video on this in the future if you guys want us to. In order for those cards to activate, like Bottomless Trap Hole and Torrential Tribute, the last thing that happens to happen in the chain link is the monster being summoned. Otherwise, they miss the timing. That's a whole other can of worms. If you'd like, comment down below and we can do a video on that at another time. Now, the other way to special summon a monster is via a condition. Now, summoning conditions can vary from banishing cards or tributing cards, having a certain amount of cards in your graveyard banished area. Sometimes even the summoning conditions can restrict how you bring the card out. They will often have, though, some parentheses, these little curvy things, usually indicating where the monster can be summoned from, such as from your hand or from your extra deck. These are not considered to be effect activations and do not start a chain. They can be negated by something that specifically negates summons. Again, like Solemn Judgment. Cyber Dragon's a perfect example of this, where it's got a relatively simple summoning condition. Oh, another thing to mention is special summon monsters usually, unless it states otherwise, do not require tributes in order to summon them. Fun fact, I thought I had to tribute 2 monsters to special summon blue eyes from my hand when I played Flute of Summoning Dragon way back when the game first came out. I was young, I didn't know the rules were complicated. They're still complicated, that's why we're doing this video. Cyber Dragon's a perfect example of a monster with a summoning condition. It's a level 5 monster that basically says if your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you can special summon it from your hand for free. Now, this ironically makes it an effect monster that doesn't have an effect. There is another type of monster called a special summon monster, meaning that these monsters cannot be normal summoners set. This card text, the cards over here will just have the text saying this card cannot be normal summoner set on it now. A lot of them didn't used to have that back in the day. Now, these cards will also usually say over here, this card must first be special summoned or must be special summoned. The older card text for that would have been, this card can only be special summoned or this card cannot be special summoned except by. You're probably wondering, okay, then what about all the fusion monsters and ritual monsters? A lot of them don't have that text on there because it's implied in their mechanics on the card. So for like lots of fusion monsters, ritual monsters, you will not see on the card, this card cannot be normal summoned or set, because it says in the rulebook that they cannot be normal summoned or set. And fusion monsters aren't even included in your hand, so you can't even normal summon or set them if you even wanted to. There are some exceptions to this though, such as some fusion monsters will say must be fusion summoned. Now, there is a huge difference between the must first be and the must be. That first is very important because monsters that say must first be special summoned, if they are on the field and go to the graveyard, they can be special summoned back from the graveyard with any cards like, again, Monster Reborn. The other type, however, cannot be special summoned once they've hit the field, even if they were legitimately summoned before that point. There is, however, one phrase in the game which is the exception to these rules and can allow these cards to be cheated out or come back to the field, ignoring the summoning conditions. This phrase, however, is slightly misleading. According to the official rules, special summon monsters can only be special summoned back from the graveyard or banished pile if they were properly summoned via its summoning conditions listed in its card text in the first place. For all the ones that say must be special summoned, even if a card's effect says ignoring the summoning conditions, that monster cannot be brought back to the field ever. So, is this a blatant contradiction? Yes. And I'll be 100% honest and blunt with you guys. I have always vividly despised this ruling. It literally says, ignoring the summoning conditions. Why does it ignore some of them but not all of them? I hear you. I get it. As I said, I've hated it. But why is it this way is the most important thing. There is an old phrase that longtime veteran players, like myself, have for a situation like this. It goes like this: because Konami says so. Can't get around it. You can't fight it. That's the way their game has to be played. It is what it is. What exactly does this mean for cards that get cheated out onto the field? Let's say, I don't know, a card like Dark Summoning Beast, perhaps? Or how about Chaos Summoning Beast? Yeah, they say ignoring the summoning conditions from the hand or deck. If you're going to cheat a monster out onto the field from the hand or deck, ignoring the summoning conditions, that's fine. But since the monster that you cheated out was not properly summoned by its text in the card itself, let's say Raviel, you didn't summon the card by tributing 3 Fiends, you summoned it by tributing Dark Summoning Beast and cheating it out onto the field. Doesn't matter. The only thing that you can do with Hyperblaze is add that card back to your hand. Yes, that's why we're making this video, because a couple of people have commented that online. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. If you want to see more content like this, please leave a comment down below telling us what other mechanics you would like us to cover, such as the, missing the timing that I mentioned a little earlier in the video. Stay safe, wear your mask in public, and we'll catch you guys next time at Duel Academy.